Now, today we're going to look into some things, and the things we're going to look into, particularly medical. However, even the local person can, I think, stick here and watch the video up to the end. To unleash what we're going to see or what we're going to talk about today, it's about immunization. And immunization is almost now taking over the globe, just because we have many viruses, we have many bacteria infections that need to be vaccinated against. So I think it is quite interesting, but I'm going to talk about probably cold chain, how to handle vaccines, how to manage vaccines, how to, everything. Now, in a country, when the vaccines are procured and entered into the country, the national vaccine store receives it and probably ensures its efficacy and its half-life, probably by the expiry date, by the VVM, which we shall talk about in the time lag when we are going forward, and probably in the temperatures. The temperatures, those vaccines have different temperatures they are supposed to be kept in, and that is recommended by the manufacturer. But most of the vaccines that we really recommend, and we really use, are those vaccines that those vaccines are stored in the temperatures of +2, +8. They are those vaccines that are stored in negative temperatures, thus -50, -30, -60, and up to negative, I think, 80 to 90. That is by Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines. That's how they were being stored. At the district, at the national vaccine stores. When they were reaching to the district vaccine stores, they could finish only 1 month, just as advised by the manufacturer. Now, I want us to look into the equipment that we always use into immunization, let's say cold chain, whereby we have at the national vaccine stores, we have the cold rooms at the district. Sometimes at the district vaccine stores, we also have cold rooms where we keep those vaccines to maintain their temperatures. We have the refrigerators where we keep them still. When we go at the facility level, we have refrigerators and vaccine carriers. Now, the vaccine carriers contain ice packs, of which in most cases we consider them conditioned, and that's why we say we need conditioned ice packs to handle vaccines in their own temperatures. We will not just remove an ice pack, a frozen ice pack in the fridge, in the freezer, and put there the vaccines, of which the vaccines have been maintained by the fridge at a temperature of +2, +8. I think that should be considered more, to keep the vaccines in a ice pack conditioned vaccine carrier. Now, to talk about the refrigerators, we all know that we have those ones that are electric, we have those ones that are solar, that use solar. However, there are those ones that phased off, or that were phased off, and that's those ones that use charcoal. Diving into the facility. Now, as I was still saying, that immunization and cold chain at the house facility level is maintained into 2 categories. That's temperature monitoring and vaccine monitoring. Now, when we are to talk about vaccine monitoring, we monitor vaccines by VVM. That we'll explain later in our video, by expiry date, by contamination, by broken vials and ampoules, by freezing, to now unleash the VVM. When going to VVM, when someone asks, or when someone thinks of VVM, he thinks of the vaccine viral monitor. So the vaccine has a VVM. Every vaccine, unless the vaccine is used in the emergency use listing of WHO, only in emergencies whereby it is not yet approved at 100%, that's when it doesn't have a VVM. That's when it may not contain a VVM on it. All the vaccines that are used by WHO have VVMs, and the VVMs help them to monitor the efficacy, the potency of the vaccine. Is the vaccine exposed to temperatures? Is the vaccine exposed to freezing? So the VVM helps in monitoring the exposure of the vaccine to either heat or freezing. So the VVM is vaccine viral monitor. Every vaccine vial or ampoule has a VVM, and that VVM helps in monitoring the change in temperature of the vaccine. And the VVM has 4 stages, and probably that's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and 4. When we talk about stage 1, the inner circle, the inner square is brighter than the outer circle. In stage 2, Now, in stage 2, we see the VVM changing. We said in stage 1, the VVM, the inner square is brighter than the outer circle. Stage 2, we see the inner square changing color, starting to change the color. That color is always purple. So it starts to change the color. When you see it has started changing the color, it means that is VVM stage 2. VVM stage 3, it is the same. The outer circle is the same as the inner square. Now in VVM stage 4, the inner square is darker than the outer circle. So now, to point out this, why do we learn about the VVM anyway? The VVM helps us to monitor whether the vaccines are exposed to either temperatures, that's it, or freezing. They have vaccines that are freeze sensitive, and they have vaccines that are non-freeze sensitive or heat sensitive. So when you see the change in the VVM, it is either that the vaccine has been either exposed to heat when it is not supposed to be exposed to heat, or it has been exposed to freezing when it's not supposed to be exposed to freezing. And that brings us to which vaccines are supposed to be exposed are freeze sensitive, and those ones that are non-freeze sensitive. That one is also coming onto. Now, I want us to talk about the vaccines that shouldn't be used during vaccination. During vaccination, when we are still talking about the other thing of expiry dates of the vaccines. Now, as we've been saying, vaccines that are contaminated are not supposed to be used during vaccination. A vaccine vial that is opened, that you found in the fridge. Let me say you are new in the facility, you just introduced to immunization, and you find a vaccine that is not labeled onto it that today I opened this and this, it was opened onto this date and this date. So you don't use that vaccine. So you don't use that vaccine for immunization. You don't know when it was opened, so it is discarded due to MDVP, as we are going to talk about it. Contamination, a vaccine you may be immunizing and the vaccine falls onto you, and sometimes people pick it, but it's not advisable for someone to pick the vaccine down the ground. The vaccine is contaminated. The second one is the vaccines that have changed it from VVM stage 2 to VVM stage 3 and 4. So we don't use those vaccines, we discard them due to VVM change. Vaccine vials without labels, as I was talking about the MDVP thing. Any vaccine that you find in the fridge and its label is down, it's not anywhere, it means it's not a vaccine, because you can't identify a vaccine by you can't identify the vaccine by an ampule or vial. So you need to take a quick look onto the vaccines that are in the store or that are in the fridge. The fourth one is that the vaccines that do not apply to MDVP. MDVP, when I'm to say about it, is multi-dose viral policy, and the multi-dose viral policy applies to some vaccines that are reusable after immunization. The vaccines that after 6 hours of immunization you take them back to the fridge, and they are those ones that you don't totally take back to the vaccine fridge. Now, the vaccines that you take back to the vaccine fridge, you may see the PCV, you may see we shall talk about them, the DPT, we shall talk about them when we unveil the MDVP thing. There are vaccines that are open vial vaccines, as the one I was saying. When you find the vaccine that is opened in the fridge, you were a new person that is going to administer these vaccines, and you find the vial is opened and it's not labeled anywhere that I opened this vaccine onto this date. Due to MDVP, due to multi-drug dose viral policy, don't use that vaccine. Don't use that vaccine, because when you use it, it may affect some people. Now, frozen vaccines are not supposed to be used because they are exposed to. As we said, expired vaccines are not supposed to be given to someone. So it is not allowed to immunize someone onto the vaccines that are expired, and then the frozen vaccines that, as I was saying. To talk about lastly at MDVP, we said it is multi-dose viral policy. So this one includes labeling of vaccine vials when you've opened them, and that's those vaccines that apply to MDVP. We may look at Rotatrix, DPT, DPT HIP, PCV, the one for pneumococcal. We have tetanus, diphtheria, we have hepatitis B vaccine, we have the OPV vaccine, we have the IPV vaccines. Those ones do apply to MDVP, and they are those ones that don't apply to MDVP. That's MMR. We have MR. We have measles, rubella, and measles, mumps, rubella, BCG. We have measles. We have the yellow fever vaccines. Those ones do not apply because after 6 hours of vaccination, when you've opened it, you don't return it in the fridge. So vaccines that you return in the fridge do apply to multiple dose viral policy, and the vaccines that you don't return in the fridge after using them, after labeling them, they apply to multi-dose viral policy. So you must label them, the time of opening and the date of opening, and ensure that the vaccines that you've opened today, count 28 days of using the vaccine, and then use them up to 28 days. When you find a fridge that is labeled and it is expiring into the 28th day, you throw it, discard it due to multi-dose viral policy, because you can't use the vaccine after 28 days of vaccination. I think in another video that is yet to come, we shall look into how we organize our immunization tables, how we organize our days of immunization, how we prepare everything when we are going to immunize. The ice packs, we said about conditioning, the pre-cooling, the temperatures of the vaccine carriers. How do you manage the vaccine to the final consumer, from the fridge to the final consumer, to the last person that is being given the injection. That is coming soon in the next video that is coming. Thank you for watching. If at all you've not yet subscribed, please take a heart to subscribe and enjoy the videos that will be coming, and they are short coming. Thank you so much.